Hello, welcome back to Bean and Nothingness. Last episode, I gave another go at the final level that we've not done in the Island of Vines, and I think I have it. I thought a little bit. I think I have it. The piece that we were missing is, uh, is that we need. I mean, the entire setup to get in and out is still the same. I'm pretty sure. It's still exactly the same. The difference now is that what we need to do to get the yellow beans out. So I mentioned, I think at one point, I mentioned the ability. What the heck? What am I doing? What? What did I just? I mentioned the ability to use a bean as fodder. It is possible to use a bean as fodder and still make it useful. And the way to do that is by basically cancelling the grabbing of the bean by the vine. So for example, if you can see here, the way I'm having the fodder work is that by putting a blue bean here, I can collect this and then attract you up here, right? And basically this allows me to leave. But of course, I'm basically stuck and this bean is not gotten. So, to actually fix that, I can use the horizontal, which is longer by the way, as a way of using this fodder. And that's what this is for. This space is for me to be here to shoot downwards so that this bucket is here. So just to show you what that would look like, it would look like this. So when I'm here, I can get the bucket to do that. Look at that. So now that I'm here, I can basically push the bucket up and do stuff. Oops. Okay, so what I want to do now is just this, I think. Right. Actually, I kind of want to, I'll put you there, actually. What I would like to do now is I would like to use you as a way to block myself from here. Interesting. I kind of want to make a bomb here. I think I want like a bomb here, right? Does this make sense? No. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put you here, but you just pick it up. So let's say I put you there first. I put one of the beans down. Yeah, but I can't do that. Oh, well then that's a problem. Okay. Yeah, that will be always a problem. Can never get these beans to be put in the same spot. So that's, I guess, what we're trying to fix. Alright. So I'm going to set up the actual setup that I want. I feel like this is a good place to be. I thought about it and that's how I'm managing to do this. I always forget. So the difficulty is to figure out exactly where to put the green beans. I feel like this looks okay. Maybe not. I just need to be able to set up a bomb here and then have it be attracted by you, which shouldn't be difficult. It was only get both beans here. So that's where the difficulty comes in. Right? If the bucket is always going to be at the same level as the vine, I'm always going to have to push it upwards. And the problem is that if the vine was like in the top area, it would grab the bean out of the bucket before I can do anything with it. So I feel like it has to be here. But we kind of still face some issues, don't we? I feel like we still face some issues. I'm gonna put the blue bean here. And you grab up here first because this is of shorter range, I think. 5, 6, 7, yeah, and this is of 8. So this is of 7, this is of 8. So now you'll be grabbing blue bean. I can use this time to walk back and attract and hit you to become a bucket. I have to do this is the shortest path I can take. So I can't do anything beforehand. I can technically use this time to do something though. So for example, I can put a bean here first. Although to be fair, I could always do that because there's always this passage before I push you off. There's not enough time to... There's definitely not enough time to come here and push you up. Yeah, without the vine already being primed. So that's kind of awkward. So where do I want to put this bean then? If I try to push you up, right? Putting the bean one space above will just cause you to grab onto it again. Can't push you down. And if I wanted you to be moving up when you let go of this, then you'd have to be carrying the bean here, which is bad for you because, you know, you'd grab the bean. So like, what can I do to avoid that? But it kind of feels like the problem would also occur if this vine were up here. Because if it were, the bucket would also kind of, you know, have the bean be grabbed as it comes down. So I can sort of do this now, I guess. But this is like not the right space. At all. Oh, what about that? Hold on. The bucket's movement can activate the bomb's movement. So that should work, right? Ah. And this actually does work with this vine because your vine's range is only 8, which means I can stand here. Oh, that is the last thing I did not actually see. It is to use the bucket to activate the bomb and not me to push it or to set up the bomb in the right spot. Okay, there you go. That should be every level in here done. This is a new level. This is the first level we've completed in this playthrough that hasn't been completed in the previous one. So that's cool. Alright, I now have the achievement for solving every puzzle on the Island of Vines. Surprisingly, very few people have solved this. This is a 7.4%, which is interesting. Only 7.4% of players have completed every puzzle on the Island of Vines. So that's cool. Okay, I've already read that message. In fact, I read all of this stuff already. Let's go back to the main room and see if we can go unlock the new area. Again, I probably won't be reading any of the stuff down here because I already have done that. And I know I have read everything there is to read in this area because I've already been into the Island of Icicles before. Where does this go? Is this actually part of a... It is. Wait, what unlocks this? Ah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Wellington Fibs. Okay. let us actually just go in right now. Meet the new monster. Hi, Bunny. Bye, Bunny. Bunny's going in there. Welcome to the Island of Ice. So, we have an icicle here, whose effect is stepping in any of its X-shaped yeah, any of its you know, whatever this is, aura, any of the aura in an X shape will cause you to be frozen. And being frozen has some properties. You have a roller, we have a bomb here. Looks like I want to blow you up, maybe. I'm assuming killing icicles is still valid. So what I would like to do is, I'm pretty sure I just want to create do I? Yeah. Create icicle here. Actually, does this let me leave? It does not. Wait, hold on. Where do I want to create an icicle? I want to create an icicle here, I think. Because it's the only place that I can actually walk through still. Yeah. So what I would like to do is I would like to get a roller to roll into the icicle's path, which would freeze it. And now I can push you over. And this actually acts as a bridge, right? Yep. Classic bridge building game. Okay. So pushing a moving bomb freezes the bomb. So the bomb will not explode. And pushing the bomb, or pushing it into water, I assume just, you know, means a frozen bomb in water, doesn't do anything. Pushing against ice, against a wall though, that is where things get interesting because you get the bomb back. Which actually means that this is the one way to kill bombs that we know of so far. And that blocks a path of you, meaning that you won't freeze me so I can enter. Alright, this shouldn't be too difficult until we reach the first level we have not played before. I have not played any of these levels just so we can start afresh on this world. In the previous playthrough, I have played these levels before though. What is that? That looks like a different color of a block. Is that a door? That's an interesting color. Also, nice music. Wow, I really like this music. It's one of the outside levels that don't let me... Yeah, I can't see those levels yet. It's one of the outside levels I got really stuck on last episode, or 2 episodes ago. Okay, so, Island of Ice. Let us play some levels. Alright, so we have 3 1 beans and 3 2 beans accessible. Let's start floating and then go clockwise. Let's start floating. Floating. Floating indicates that we might have to use the fact that clouds float, which we already know to be a property in the past. We've played around with that property. Is that drums? There's a very soft snare in the background. Can I turn the music up? Oh, I can. Oh, it's... Ooh. Oh, that's sound. Oh my goodness, I can't read. There you go. Nice music though. I really like the ambience of like... Most puzzle games, honestly, they have some really good ambience. Okay, so... Yeah, I think the idea that I want to actually pull off is a cloud becoming a solid object. And the way I would do that is by icicling it. Yeah, that causes this to become a solid object that actually presses down on the button, which you can see its effect by these guys, you know, switching states. So to actually get that to happen, what I'll do is I'll stand here, activate the cloud, which will activate the ice and cause a switch in states. Okay. Very interesting puzzle that kind of explores a niche mechanic to begin with. I don't know if that mechanic will ever show up ever again, but maybe it will eventually. It requires 2 very specific monsters though, the ice and the cloud. So if that ever shows up again, it'll probably be like either a minor step or something like that. Anyway, puddle neighbors. We have 2 rollers, a freezer. Likely I want to freeze a roller here and here, which are exactly 5 apart. So the good news is that it is possible for this and this to happen. Now, what is the issue with doing something like this? The issue is that this can't be pushed. I can probably resolve that by using a roller's momentum to push, right? So this gets you in here, you get frozen, but I can't push you because I'm too far away. However, another roller could push you, I think. Yeah. Okay, and we just need to get the roller down here, which is actually really easy. like so. And I can push this on myself. The shoving is very important here, otherwise I would just be frozen along with whatever was frozen. I wonder what this shape is for. Is it in the map actually? Yeah, you can. It's kind of in the map. I wonder what this U shape is for. Like, could there have been like some red herring that I would have accidentally tried to make my way through this gap? Or is it just like a false link that makes it aesthetically pleasing or something? I don't know. Maybe it blocks it. Maybe it prevents some cheese of some sort. No idea. Alright, this one. This is another 1 bean puzzle. Yes, this far and no further. We have 1 bomb, 1 vine, 1 icicle. Cloud here will shoot if we try to bring anything through. We can't freeze this cloud because icicles do not pass through walls. They will do this though, but that is not helpful at all. Okay, we start with 1 vine and 1 icicle. Bomb. Bomb is interesting because... why? No idea. Well, we do need the bomb to explode here, I guess. So that's what that's for. Right, okay. What if I interrupted a vine's movement by freezing it? And I would do that by doing this. That drops it. Like that. Okay. But I probably want to be here instead. So I can walk down here. Okay. So this far and no further is referencing how I want the yellow bean to go this far, but no further. Clever. Okay, cool. That's 3 levels down. Any more 1 beans I can try? Not until I enter this area. Let's go down here and just look at the puzzles. Oh, we already have a 4 bean puzzle here. Nice, okay. Now, I'm assuming there are no... Is this really 4 beans? Oh my goodness. Yeah. It just gets something there. Oh, also the altar is right here. Also, there's no bridge here. So I can just walk here if I want to? Okay, weird. I see every puzzle now. There's a 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. Only 3 5 stars, I guess. Oh no, I already entered this, so this is red now. Can I undo that? I guess so. But no, I already entered here, so this will be permanently marked red until I solve that, which won't be happening very soon. Alright, 3 beans puzzle, 3 bean puzzles again. 3 5 bean puzzles. Jeez, what am I saying? Alright, let's go back and solve the 2 bean puzzles since I don't see any more 1 beans. So once again, I will go here and I go clockwise. I went anti-clockwise here, I didn't actually notice it when I said I was gonna go clockwise. Let's go cold courier first. Courier? Cold courier. Okay, we have a pretty obvious problem here we can't walk through. Freezing you will be very nice, but I'll need 1 blue and 1 white for that. 4 whites and 2 blues. I can use a bucket to put something there, but I wouldn't be able to access it. I could use a bucket to put a cloud here, which would, you know, do stuff. Why is there 2 of these? What is that about? I don't know. Okay, so... let's try and put down a cloud down there first. And now I'm going to need to put another one of these guys. Okay, so there's a cloud, which is interesting. If I had an icicle, I would surprisingly have an extra white bean for some reason. Not an extra blue bean, an extra white bean. I thought the extra blue bean would be for another bucket, but apparently not. Okay, what if I killed a cloud here then? Ooh, would that be interesting? I was thinking of sliding something over and breaking it here, right? We know that breaking ice against walls will kill that object. So for example, if I had a cloud here and ice here, so this will freeze the cloud before the cloud shoots me. I'm holding some beans, but the cloud doesn't shoot me because the order of operations is that ice will hit cloud first. Pushing against here This actually does not let me pass, by the way, but it's okay. We'll see what happens here. So ice, because it presses against here, will allow it to slide over here. We'll break here and you get the beans here. Okay, does the bucket get frozen? Just checking. I'm assuming buckets get frozen too. Yes, they do. Buckets can get frozen, and that would actually put a blue bean. That is interesting. I actually kind of want that. Also, for the ultimate question, can icicles freeze icicles? Let's check. No, they can't freeze each other because they're both already infinitely cold, I guess. Icicles cannot freeze icicles, so you can't slide an icicle across there and then expect yourself to... No, it does not work like that. But I really want an icicle here. So we know that a frozen bucket works here, but we need a single white bean there. 2 white beans will not work. Okay, so why not? But the problem is that it won't work to try and get a bucket to put in a white bean. Because I can't get it out firstly, you need a cloud to get it out. And secondly, the bucket itself can't come out. So there's some obvious issues there. What the heck is this arrangement of 6 beans? Sure, I thought it would have looked a little more nice, you know, maybe a hexagon or something, but no, it's just 2x3. Okay, kind of getting a bit stuck here. Conceptually, I don't really know what to think. I do think this is a good idea. And while that's going on, why not I try and, you know, I can freeze a cloud. So what happens here? There will be a collision, of course. That is a very awkward collision. If I waited one more turn and then pushed, the collision will occur. Okay, I have to wait a couple more turns after this. Wait. This should be correct to get them both here and here. That does not do anything. No. I guess the interesting thing is that I could get a bucket to put a white bean in there, or I could get an empty bucket to go in there. I could start off with... Hold on, I gotta think about this. I think I want an icicle here. This lets me walk through, but also allows me to have 2 spaces here. The reason why I want 2 spaces here is because I want to be able to push an unfrozen bucket through here. But at the same time, I also want to be able to push a cloud in here. So what will happen in this case is that an empty bucket can take out a bean. Okay, but that doesn't really help. You know what is another thing I could do? Why don't, instead of using a bucket to get a cloud here, I put a cloud here myself using ice. Like that. Yeah, right? Okay, the difficulty is that I don't get anything frozen coming down through here. Only a bucket. But I need... Wait a minute. Yeah, frozen bucket kind of needs to get through here. I don't know how to do that. Oh, I mean, the cloud can just be here. The cloud doesn't need to be that high up. Okay. So let's restart there. This top row is a... Well, I would say it's a red herring, but it's even worse because it actively makes it harder for me to solve the puzzle. It doesn't do nothing. Okay. So a frozen bucket... Do I want the bucket to bring a white... Oh, what about a frozen bucket holding a white bean? Ooh, wait, that would work, right? Let me just check. Okay, so... we want a cloud here. We want a single white bean here. and then the bucket here which will carry it. So you will break into a cloud, or into a cloud recipe, which I'll reform into a cloud. So this, will you pick up the white bean first? No. No, you won't. Okay, I can do something better, though. Let's just restart here. Just let me restart. Cloud here. Icicle here. I want to use a bounce back. So I'll have you bounce back this way, carry the white bean with you before getting frozen. There you go. Okay. So cloud recipe there. So what happens here is that the ice gets broken, the bucket dies, and both its remains which are blue and a white bean which is carrying gets dropped. Which should result in the dropping of a blue and a white, which would be shot into an icicle. There you go. That was really clever. Nice puzzle. I like that one. Okay, let's actually go clockwise. The Bridge of Vines. So here we have 7. See, 7 is arranged very nicely. What does 8 look like? 8 looks like that. Fair enough. Okay, so we have a Bridge of Vines. Do I want to make... Oh, I think I know what's going to happen. It's going to be a vine pulling up an icicle, isn't it? And that icicle also just... Yeah, okay, that's cool. Is it? Wait, hold on. I want to do this. So this chain lets me create a bunch of vines, and this... hold on, I need to make an ice down there first. That will already freeze you, but it doesn't really matter. What I want is this. You're gonna pull the vine along this direction, and the vine... Oh, sorry, the icicle's aura? I'm gonna call it aura. It's gonna freeze everything in its path. And hopefully the consumption would actually just kill... Actually, would it kill you or would it freeze you? It will freeze you. So that's a new interaction. The consumption of an icicle will freeze you. It will not leave behind the icicle's bean, apparently. So while a vine usually keeps the bean underneath it, because it gets frozen, the icicle basically goes away. Okay. But we can now use this to create a bridge. I with this puzzle. This puzzle is really fun. Nice. Okay. Final 2-bean puzzle is here. Ooh, okay, very minimal. Uncrossable pond. Very, very minimal. I know the exact interaction they want us to make here. This is the very first time I can actually sort of die. So what I want me to do is this. So I attract you while getting frozen myself. Your movement will push me. And that causes me to freeze. It also freezes you, by the way, in a very awkward position. That was really easy, but only because I know exactly what they want from me here. A person who does not ever know of that interaction might spend quite a while trying to solve that puzzle. Okay. Let's try another one. Okay, I think the one I'm going to look for is... Not Bridge to Nowhere. It's another 2-bean puzzle that took me a while. Cold and Cramped, Snowy Pier are the only 2-bean puzzles left. Cold and Cramped, Snowy Pier. Okay, Cold and Cramped is not the difficult one. Snowy Pier is a difficult one. Let us do Snowy Pier first then. I think tackling this should be a bit better for me. I need to get something here. This looks like a frozen in motion setup. But it's kind of hard to pull off this frozen in motion setup. Although I do see what they kind of want me to do. Do they? Wait, do I? No, hold on. I want to know what happens if... hold on. I want to know what happens if the pulling of a frozen... I Oh no, what happens if a pulled object gets frozen? There you go. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so I need to put down an icicle first. Let's put you down here, preferably. Okay. So, when a pulled object gets frozen, it gets completely stuck. So your arm is just being held in place here by the freezing of you, which is interesting. Can you naturally pull a frozen object? Is my next question. So I will do this. Okay. You will not pull a frozen object. You will pull me after my path of your path line of sight is unblocked. Okay. What would I want to do then? I was thinking of having a rolling in motion set up here to get an upward moving. Yeah, but doesn't really. Not easy, is it? A frozen, anything frozen that presses against that like hits a wall. No. I was wondering if maybe. Hold on, I need to check something. Can I push an object that is frozen and also held in the line, held by a vine? So let me just set this up. Set this up by doing. Oh, sorry. Cyan beam was also to be here. This would be the vine. Cyan would have been here. Okay. Right. Okay, can I push you? No, you are now a solid object. Everything here is now solid and unpushable, including icicle. Okay, so a whole held object is solid. I was thinking the other way I could get something to happen here is an ice block being pushed up in this direction. Would you give me one turn to enter here? So an ice block pushed up in this direction would also work. I know a frozen vine will in fact let go. Right? I remember from above. One of the puzzles above, a frozen vine will let go. Right? I just gotta check again. Frozen vine. Yes, a frozen vine will let go immediately. Somehow their arm just immediately swoops back into their body the moment they get frozen. Could this work for... I feel like this could be a frozen in motion setup, but the problem is that I can't really get... Yeah, you just become something to vine. I can't really get an upward movement here. I want a vine like here. Upward movement most likely is here, right? I want a vine here, but that's just not possible. So right now we're working with the idea of a regular roller rolling up in here. What if there are better things I could do? This is just a very tight space to be in though, to be fair. I just put something here. I can't grow anything here. Then the next best option is to slide something upwards. But to slide something upwards can't be done with my own body. Because if I were to push something upwards, right, that thing would be long past this point by the time I reached here. So it can't be by myself. What else can impart upward movement? I guess a roller. But how can a roller impart upward movement on anything in here? Like, okay, ideally what I want is a vine here, and then an icicle here, and then what can happen is like a roller will come up here. It'll get pulled by this guy, who right now doesn't even work because you can't, I'm gonna like try and emulate this setup. So the other place I can emulate this setup is here. So what can happen is like something like this. And I can freeze it and then, it'll be held in place. I just kinda wanna be here instead. Oh yeah, and then the icicle has to be one off as well. But you kinda get the idea, right? So yeah, you have upward movement at this point, but like obviously that's not doable here. Or at least I can't do it here. If I could do it here, that'd be really nice. It's just that I can't get a vine to be here. Can I? If I could, I think the problem would generally just be solved, because I could just have this setup occur in these two spots. But that requires a vine here, which, doesn't even look like it might work. Just, just because that happens. And then I can't turn that into, So yeah. So what do I want to do then? That feels like such a good idea, but no, this being a solid block doesn't really work out. Then there's also this entire area up here. I don't know if that's just an area for setting up or what, but no. Okay, just give me a second while I set up this thing again. I want to save this as a bookmark just so I can come back to it in case I ever forget the setup. There you go. Restart. The other idea is to put a frozen block up here, whose movement has to be... whose momentum has to be imparted by something else that isn't me. The only thing that can really impart like legitimate sliding movement is the roller rolling upwards, which is already difficult to begin with. Because the only thing that really can be frozen here is, if I try to get... what if I got the roll to roll up towards me and then I get pulled over, and then after getting pulled over, I freeze the vine to let go of me? Because frozen vines let go of things. Aha, what about that? So there you go, that could work. And that wouldn't actually be that hard to pull off, making it a logical 2-bean puzzle. Okay, you gotta be closer by 1, that's doable. I simply need to shoot upwards here for the diagonal to hit you. So you get pulled over. Now that I'm here, I can shoot up. I can shoot this way, and you are frozen, you let go of me, and I'm alive. Oh, that was not hard at all. I think I kind of just had a bit of tunnel vision trying to figure out exactly how to get something here. I did not ever realize that I being here would be savable. I just thought like being here would mean I was completely dead. But that is not how it works. Alright, cool. I think that should mark the end of the episode. Next episode, we'll move on to the other puzzles. We will solve Cold and Cram, then we'll solve the remaining 3 beam puzzles in, I guess, clockwise order. And we'll figure out what to do after that. So yeah, until next time, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Bye bye!